As we're getting close to episode 200 of SEIYUU Lounge, we have been talking about all the behind the scenes at the hand at THTFHQ, which is quite awesome. And on an episode of Monthly Review, we got another question, now to understand how do I keep up with everything that is news about male SEIYUU artists and 2D music projects, which is a lot, mind you. So we are going to cover that in this episode, so let's go and kick off this episode of SEIYUU Lounge. Welcome to SEIYUU Lounge, I'm your host Vanessa, and today we are going to talk about how do I keep up with everything that is news about male SEIYUU artists and 2D groups. And it is a lot. It is a lot of hard work, it is a lot of organization on my side, but of course I'm not going to spoil you this episode because this is a viewable episode. And you are going to see and hear what I think about these and how I organize myself when it comes to keeping up with the news. If you follow the website, you will understand that sometimes I'm not on top of everything at the time that the news are available. And that makes sense because, once again, as I have told you before, I work a 9 to 5 job and I only do things for the hand at THTFHQ on my free time, which is to say late nights every day or almost every day. So it is a lot of hard work after my daytime job, which is already overkill to me. But yeah, I do keep up in some interesting ways and I have worked in a way that it makes it easier for me to find the news and to get the news to you as transparent, as direct and as truthful as they can be. They come from official sources and most of the times they come from press releases, which is the best source ever. It is the most official you can get. So yeah, let's start diving into this episode, and from this point on the episode is viewable, so if you are listening to this in the background, you may want to watch these, maybe, let's say. And if you are listening to this on Spotify, you also can watch this episode. It is available in viewable format. So let's dive into that. So we had a question in an episode of Monthly Review by Unwelcome that was focused on this specific thing. How do you feel staying up to date with so much information about voice actors? I find it admirable how you manage everything. I can barely keep up, but I still enjoy it nonetheless. By the way, your behind the scenes videos about reviewing and analyzing music have been very informative and interesting. So, this is another episode of the podcast focused on answering your questions and using a part of an episode that I was recording to actually answer your questions. In this case, how do I keep up to date with everything that male SEIYUU are releasing? I don't. I try. So I of course have said before that I used TweetDeck for that, but TweetDeck is now paid, so I do not pay for that. So I have lists that I check from time to time. I also, on my Twitter profile, I follow a lot of SEIYUU artists and 2D music projects, and I always, every day, check for news to see if those are newsworthy to talk about on the website, if those are about CDs, and even if there are new music projects coming, especially because the SEIYUU will be retweeting or talking about those projects. So every day I make sure that I check my timeline and that everything that is news or newsworthy information I add to a doc, and later on when I have the time I write about that. I always try to check multiple sources, so if I have a SEIYUU saying something, I'm going to check the official profile of that project, for example, and if a SEIYUU says that they are going to release music, I'm going to confirm on their music label's website. So for example, those are ways in which I try to double check the information. I never ever use information shared by other SEIYUU fans because most people will be saying the truth, but I don't know or don't have ways of checking if the content or the information is true or not. So I usually stick to the official sources, and that's where I get my news. That's why sometimes I also arrive a bit later to the news, because sometimes I have to wait for press releases from Pony Canyon. It's a good example. I receive press releases by Pony Canyon of their artists. So whenever it's information about Shunichi Toki, for example, I do get the information first coming from directly the music label. So I do not have to check anywhere else. I get the official press release and I can do what I want with the press release, unless, well, of course I cannot change the wording completely, but I can do what I usually do with the information that I get on other sources and adapt it to the format that I use to relay information to you in the news articles about new CDs, new live shows, and everything else. So that's how I do that. So keeping up with the SEIYUU is, with all the voice actors, is basically me just checking social media as frequently as I can to check if they have any new things going on. At the same time, I've already said I use PR Times, which is an aggregator of news, official news, with press releases ready to go to adapt for your website or for your project. And in there I follow a couple of sources in which I get some information. For example, the information about new magazines I usually get from there, although I do have a list on Twitter just focused on magazines, SEIYUU magazines. I still go to PR Times because we usually have, for example, from the TV Voice Guide magazines or the TV Guide magazines, they release a press release with even a comment by the SEIYUU themselves, which is also valuable to add to the news articles. So that's how I really keep up with the information. I try to check everything. I have everything streamlined yet again. So I've created ways for me to keep up with everything. But as you may have noticed, the biggest issue for me is to keep up with everything. So when I said that I do not keep up with anything, I wasn't lying. I try to keep up, but I don't keep up with everything. So I have to choose what I have to keep up with. For example, early in March, there was an announcement that Makoto Furukawa was going to release his 7th single. I didn't get that news until the end of the month. So I try to keep up with everything as close as I can, but I'm also juggling everything that I do here at the THTFHQ with a full-time job, and even with me creating a side gig, I'm creating an agency, a marketing agency, so I have basically 3 jobs at the same time, so I cannot really be at the same places or more focused on one place than the other, when actually this is a hobby of mine that takes a lot of my free time, and I need that free time right now to create a marketing agency and at the same time to manage my work for the company that is paying me every month. So yeah, that's tricky, but that's manageable in some way. I've set for myself that at least every Friday I need to arrive at the website and put some of the news that were announced or released this week or in that specific week, and ensure that people at least get a news recap on Friday with everything dropping in the same day. So if you are following the website on social media, you will get a lot of notifications whenever I try to keep up with everything that was announced in a specific week. If you are following the website, it is a bit softer on that. You just arrive and check if there are any news, and you don't have to deal with any notifications, so it is kinder, it is a bit, I should say, nicer when it comes to that. So yeah, that's how I keep up with the information. I have lists of everything. I've prepared those were the lists that I was using in TweetDeck. Now it's not even possible. I need to check one tab at a time, which is tiring. Takes me a lot of time right now to actually do anything on Twitter, because most of the information by male SEIYUU artists and 2D groups is on Twitter, so that's my way of checking those. But I always check, and I do try to do a monthly round to the websites of the music labels by most of the male SEIYUU artists and 2D groups to see and to check if there is any news that I missed on social media, because sometimes I miss those informations as well. And on the other way, about the behind-the-scenes videos, well, the behind-the-scenes videos are there to actually show you a bit how I work, because what I do is a bit unique. Talking about male SEIYUU music is rather unique on YouTube, I believe, and even on a website specifically. And there's another unique thing going on in here, because I'm a team of one person only. So I'm doing everything by myself, as I talked talked about extensively in previous episodes. These behind the scenes episodes are also because we are nearing the episode 200 of the podcast, and for that I want you to participate in a survey that is in the description below, so make sure to participate in it with questions, comments, messages. Actually, do drop anything you feel like dropping in that survey, at least related to Male SEIYUU, or at least to what I do at the THTFHQ. So yeah, I welcome you to participate in that survey so that I can get things to talk about in an episode 200 that is going to air in May 2024. Is still on a date to be confirmed, and it's going to be a special episode because it's going to be I intend to do a live broadcast. So it's going to be the first live on YouTube, and I want you to actually participate in it and come and watch. It's going to be dropped at the same time, or start at the same time as the episodes usually drop, which is 3 p.m. GMT. You will have to check in your time zone, but it is always at the same time that the episodes drop on the YouTube channel. So make sure to check that out. It's going to be me live doing things for the very first time, so it's going to break things. It's bound to happen. Things are going to break, and at the same time it's going to be fun to talk to you in real time and to answer to some of your questions if you can't be in real time to ask those questions to me. So it's going to mix a bit of offline questions with live questions, so if you can participate in the survey, and if you want to also appear in the live stream, please appear in the live stream. It's going to be awesome, and I hope you actually find it interesting. Thank you, of course, and welcome for sending this question and for inspiring this short episode of the podcast, another behind the scenes episode of the podcast, which is really, really awesome. I love to see that you are actually interested in seeing more behind the scenes. I was a bit reluctant of showing this side because I believe that most of you actually want to talk about Male SEIYUU and music and not necessarily about me. So it's interesting to see that you are curious about my work and what I do, and to see how everything works behind the scenes. And of course, thank you very much for being around, for sticking around for the long run. You have been around for at least 1 year that I know of, so it's been really awesome to have you around. To everyone watching this episode, thank you very much for watching this episode, and I'll see you guys, of course, soon. If you have any questions, drop those in the comments below, if you are on YouTube, or drop in the comments on Spotify. Feel free, of course, to leave a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts if you are in there. And if you are here on YouTube, you can leave a like and a subscribe. It's optional, but it helps a lot this channel grow. And if you want to check more music, awesome music, do visit THTFHQ.com. You have awesome reviews in there. At least I believe so, those are awesome, but I'm suspicious. I reviewed those CDs. But you have awesome reviews in there. You have interesting content, transparent content, and you have everything you need to know about 2D music projects, at least the biggest ones right now, or the most active ones right now. I'm not talking about those all of those out there, but I'm talking about most, if not all. So yeah, you do have a lot of awesome content in there. Also, if you are looking for gear for you to listen to music with more quality, to have really good headphones that can really pinpoint everything that I talk about in the reviews, or even if you want to upgrade your gear to have a better sound quality, a better delivery, or if you want to actually create content like I do check the links in the description below, because I have links directly to some of the gear that I use and that I fully recommend you to check. If you are looking to upgrade your headphones or looking for something more affordable but still with a lot of quality, I have those suggestions in there. Do check the links in there, or the big document that I'm going to link to, which has almost everything that I use or that I have used in the past, which is gear that is really awesome and is going to improve a lot your listening experience, to have a listening experience close to the one that I have with those Sennheiser headphones that I use all the time, and my decks and everything else. So yeah, do check those links below. Do support the music by Male SEIYUU as well, links below as well. And if you want to, leave those questions below that I will answer to those either here or in another episode. So thank you very much for watching this episode, and I'll see you guys soon.